Financial wellness. Reach out to them for advice at 855-DON-GINO. And now back to your hosts, Don Getling and Gino Franti.
Again, one more time, the Prop 60 and Prop 90, which can help a downsizing buyer potentially cut their taxes substantially and their monthly payments.
Yeah, I think you worked some numbers there, Don, on the break, and it seemed like you could substantially reduce the amount of taxes you pay, which over a period of years would be huge for someone.
Well, especially if you're downsizing, a lot of times that means you're either retiring or you're going to be on a fixed income and so forth, and it might be a little less than normal. What's really nice is, say you had bought a home for $250. And this is, again, usually for someone who's been in the home for a long time. They had a low tax base. So at $250, which is, say your tax base would have been at 1.25%, $3,125 a year, or $260 a month. Your home goes all the way up to $800,000, but you don't need that big home anymore. You booted the kids to college, they're done, got their own jobs, and now it's time to downsize. So now you have to, one of the factors, you have to be 55 or older, one of the spouses.
One of the spouses, yes.
And you have to buy a home for less value than you sold your home for. So let's just say your home went up to $800,000, and now you're buying a $500,000 home. Well, your tax base without Prop 60 or Prop 90 would have been $6,250 instead of $3,125, double the amount. So instead of $260 a month for your property taxes, go up to $520.
Which is outrageous because you bought a smaller home and now you're paying twice the taxes.
So remember, Prop 60, you heard it from Paul Dinkel. He bought this all by himself. I didn't even say, hey, why don't you bring those props in? And then 90, the only difference is 60, meaning if you're going to exchange properties within L.A. County, 90 is with a reciprocating outside county. Not all counties allow you to go from one city to another city and exchange the prop values. So make sure you look into that, or just call Paul Dinkel at 510-3042.
That's right. 661-510-3042 is my cell.
Okay. So lastly, before we leave, we're going to leave you another little number, because I was teasing you at the break that there are options for you to invest. And, of course, we bring financial planners in here, but something to think about. We often say it, Paul, that there's no better investment than real estate. Over time, people, gosh, are so hurt because we had a little, hiccup. Obviously, it happens.
Well, that's true with most investments except for bank investments. Over time, it stays the same.
Yeah, but those bank investments, how well do those pay?
Well, I think in a good year you might be at 1 or 2%, or sometimes even less.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So what Paul did is he brought some numbers here, and we're going to kind of give you just an idea of why it's important to look at real estate, especially right now. We got values increasing, rates at some of the best levels you will probably ever see in your lifetime. So why don't you touch a base on what you have in front of us?
Yeah, I was looking at if you took a typical home, let's say you bought a $400,000 home. You put 25% down. That's $300,000 loan. You'd need $100,000 down payment and probably about $9,000 in closing costs. So your investment or sunk cost is $109,000. You hold that property, rent it for 10 years, let's say. And you take the appreciation in value over 10 years, assuming 3% annual appreciation,
which is very fair,
which is very, very conservative. You take the principal pay down on that loan. You take the monthly positive cash flow. It's not going to be a lot. It might be $300 a month over the term of the investment. And then you subtract your expenses, which would be for repairs and maybe a vacancy
mortgage
factor.
Payment, right.
Well, the mortgage payment is already taken out in the analysis.
Oh, I see. You're talking about the net. Okay, I got it.
Anyhow, you would end up, if you took all of those elements, you'd end up with a profit over the 10-year period. Divide that by the 10 years, that would give you your annual profit for a year. Divide that by the sunk cost, the $109,000, you come up with about almost a 21% return on investment.
And this is just a sample. Don't go out and saying I want a 20% return on everything you did. But this is an example of basically how much return over time. Because what a lot of times you don't think about is, I'm only getting $300 back or even $200 back. Well, you have tax advantages on the property. Plus, they don't think about the principal reduction. You're paying down that principal every month. 2, you also have potential appreciation over time. That compounded. Remember, that appreciation's compounding every year.
Yeah, it's not just a 3% on the original purchase price. It's on whatever each year it compounds.
Right. I mean, at 3% on it when it was 300,000 is 9,000, and now 3% on 500,000, you got 15 grand you're making.
And I think the average appreciation over the last 10 years has been like around 6%. So we're using a conservative value for appreciation at 3%.
Yeah, usually the number I use.
And we're using a 3% annual appreciation for rents, which is probably low again because we got a real shortage on rentals here in Santa Clarita, and those rates are going up dramatically.
No doubt. Always great information. So, Paul, your bottom line is they should really consider, when they're figuring out what to do with their monies that are sitting there, is they should at least diversify and look into possibly owning real estate.
Yeah, and this example that I gave, if you took your $109,000 initial sunk cost, over 10 years that would grow to $226,000. There's a college fund for your kids.
Oh, there you go. No doubt. Well, thank you again, Paul. Unfortunately, we have to go. We only got an hour here every Saturday, 9 a.m. Again, Paul Dinkel with RE/MAX Santa Clarita. One more time, how do they get a hold of you, buddy? 661-510-3042. Team at pauldinkel.com. All right, Paul Dinkel with RE/MAX. Thank you for joining us. Again, you can watch our show live every Saturday, 9 a.m., and by going to donandgino.com, DONANDGINO. There's so much information. The YouTube channel has over 600 videos on it now. Also, we'd love you to check out our incredible group. We've created a resource group for you right here in Santa Clarita with the best professionals in all Santa Clarita called America's Professional Resource Group, aprgi.com. You'll find out more about the entire group. Sign up for our free magazine, e-magazine. Not selling you a thing, just giving you information. That's what we do every Saturday. Thank you, Paul, again for being part of our show.
Thank you for the invite. Enjoyed it.
All right, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Saturday.